The fight to save the Putnam Trail continues as advocates and members of the community are determined to stop the Parks Department and Mayor Bloomberg's decision to expand the width of the trail from 8 feet to 15 feet, as well as using taxpayers' money on the project. With over 1,000 letters written by community members, they continue to ask for more support in getting the message out that the Putnam Trail should be left as is. With us now is community advocate Michael Oliva. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me again.
Thank you, Michael. 2 months ago, we were talking about the Putnam Trail. You guys were still in talks with the mayor's office, the Parks Department. What has happened since that conversation?
Yeah, first I want to just clarify what our position is for the future of the Putnam Trail. The city wishes to, well, the Putnam Trail is a 1.5 mile nature trail right now through Van Cortlandt Park. The city wants to expand the width of this trail from its current 8-foot width to 15 feet, and they also want to pave it with asphalt. We still wish to see improvements on the Putnam Trail, but we want to see the width kept at 8 feet, and we want to see the surface finished with a stone dust surface, which still serves all users, and we don't want to see asphalt pavement. But as to the progress of the campaign, in the last 2 months, we've had 1,000 letters from the community members supporting our position. We've had a lot of prominent members from the community and representatives of community organizations support our position. The park still is standing firm on their position to pave the trail with asphalt, but we're making progress and we feel we can get that decision reversed.
So I was reading somewhere that this expansion is going to cost taxpayers $1 million. I think that's a very key point here in the spending of $1,000 to widen a trail, so to place asphalt on it. Do you think that, does your organization believe that the money should be spent in other aspects in beautifying the park, or?
Yeah, yes we do. The total cost of this project are about $2.5 million. The city, 2 congressmen acquired $1.5 million in federal earmarks 5 years ago for this project. But in addition to that, Mayor Bloomberg has put forth $1 million of New York City taxpayer money towards the project. We feel this project, under our plan, could be done at least by half the cost, which would save taxpayers dramatically. Mayor Bloomberg is only required to put $270,000 of taxpayer money towards this project, but he has allocated $969,000. We think that difference of approximately $679,000 could be much better spent. We have much higher needs in this city, like school teachers and other essential services. That money should not be spent on asphalt pavement on a beautiful historic nature trail. So yeah, we see a lot of other needs and more critical needs where this money could be spent.
One of the points that the mayor's office and the Parks Department are using to validate the paving of the Putnam Trail is to make it more the accessibility to disabled people. How do you guys feel about this? Yeah,
I mean, I've been an advocate for the disabled in the past, and I'm very familiar with the American with Disabilities Act guidelines. And our plan, which is a stone dust surface, still 100% meets American Disability Act guidelines, and wheelchairs can still use it as a stone dust surface. I find the Parks Department's argument troubling that they're paving this trail specifically for wheelchair access, and I don't think it's fair. If the problem with saying that they're paving this trail for wheelchair access is they're not making access to the trail accessible for wheelchairs. In order for wheelchairs to get to the Putnam Trail now, or in the future, they'll have to access it from the one subway stop by public transportation or buses on Broadway, and they'd have to come inside the park a half mile to access the Putnam Trail. The Parks Department has not made that pathway wheelchair accessible, so even if the Putnam Trail, under our plan, which is stone dust, or Parks plan, which is pavement, was wheelchair accessible, wheelchairs still have a problem getting to the trail. And the Parks Department also hasn't put an effort forth to make wheelchair accessible bathrooms in Van Cortlandt Park. The closest bathroom to the Putnam Trail right now is not wheelchair accessible. There's only one bathroom in the Putnam Trail vicinity that is wheelchair accessible, and that's at the Van Cortlandt Park Golf House. And that golf house is not open all year round, and it's open very sporadically, so it's not a very it's not a guaranteed access for someone in a wheelchair to have a restroom available.
So as an advocate, what are you proposing?
Well, we're proposing that the Parks Department leaves the trail 8 feet wide, keeps the trail, finishes this trail with a stone dust surface. This will still meet the needs of all users. It doesn't shut anybody out. Wheelchairs can use the stone dust trail, cyclists can use the stone dust trail, walkers, runners, birders. It doesn't affect any users. And we also find it very troubling. You know, I help organize a series of free running events in Van Cortlandt Park. And the Parks Department has recently denied us a permit to run on the Putnam Trail, and has said we can never utilize the Putnam Trail again for our runs. And the Parks Department argument for this is saying that the Putnam Trail is an environmentally sensitive area. Therefore, they don't want to see a lot of runners on this trail. And that's fine. The Putnam Trail is environmentally sensitive, but then they have to use that logic when they determine whether it's a good idea to pave the Putnam Trail. How can they put forth that argument and pave an environmentally sensitive area? It doesn't work both ways. So we find this very troubling that they're saying it's environmentally sensitive, yet they're deciding to pave the same trail.
So I notice in the past you have held events on the trail, utilizing the trail, but most recently they've decided that you can no longer use the trail and that it's environmentally protected as of today.
As of 1 week ago,
okay.
Yes, we've held 12 successful running events on holidays over the past year in Van Cortlandt Park, utilizing the Putnam Trail and other trails in the park. And as of a week ago, the New York City Parks Department said we will never again get a permit to hold running events on the Putnam Trail because it's an environmentally sensitive area.
Could this mean that there's a shift in the way that they're looking at the Putnam Trail?
I certainly hope so. If they're taking that position that it's environmentally sensitive, maybe they'll rethink their position to pave the trail with asphalt. So I hope there's a new thinking in the Parks Department. And we want to see the Putnam Trail still serve all users but preserve the natural environment of the park. So maybe the Parks Department is leaning towards our vision and seeing the reasoning behind our position.
We can only hope. So viewers at home, if they're interested in finding out more information or joining your advocacy in preserving the Putnam Trail, what should they do?
They could go to SaveThePutnamTrail.com. They could get involved with our organization by emailing us. We've had a lot of people email us as a result of the show and other outreach, and that's the best way to get in touch with us. We recently had an individual who I think had found us on your show, corresponded with me back and forth by email, wanting to see what he can do to help the campaign. And it was interesting. He was asking a lot of questions. He said he wanted to donate some money to the campaign, so we got very excited because he wanted to make sure his money was going towards valid and useful activities. So we told him a lot of our costs go to stamps because a lot of people can't afford to mail letters into their elected officials. So we thought that this money, this was going to be a very large donation because this person's doing their due diligence, doing their homework, making sure their money is going to go through a good cause. So we're like, wow, we're going to get $10,000, $20,000. The individual came through with a donation, donated $10, and attached a note saying, I hope this money is put to good use. I really care about this trail. And at first we were a little upset because we were expecting maybe $10,000 to $20,000. We could do a lot with this money. We could really, really up the ante and do a lot of outreach. But in the end, we said, you know what? This is what this campaign's about. This campaign's about regular folks in the Bronx who care about nature, and that $10 meant a lot to us, and it motivated us, to work even harder to save this trail, because this is about real people and regular folks who want to save a public park and a historic trail in a public park in the Bronx.